About a month ago, I uploaded a college decisions reactions video, and under that video, quite a few of you have been asking for a stats and ECs video. So I thought now is a great time to do it. Also, while going through my application, I'd like to talk about what I thought worked for me, what I thought could be better, and if you're gonna apply next season to colleges, what I feel like you could do to increase your odds. So I'll be covering all of that in today's video. I will be going through my entire Common App from A to Z, everything that's on it, except personal information. So this should be as in-depth as it gets. And this is the application that got me into UPenn, as I will be attending schools like UC Berkeley, UCLA, Georgia Tech for computer science. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid, and I hope you can take away a few things from this video. So without further ado, on to the application. So I'm on the Common App first page right now, and this is just my name, and this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. I don't think I really need to go over this, just my birthday and stuff. That's not really important. Address, we don't need to see that. Phone number, all this like demographic information, just make sure there's no mistakes here. And one thing I want to discuss is applying as an Asian applicant, because a lot of the times colleges say they are race blind, but they are not. And my school counselor actually told me this. So if you're applying to a college that says they don't look for race, if you are Asian, you are at a disadvantage. And I'm not trying to say that to victimize or anything. It's just a fact. NYU statistics got leaked about 2 months ago, and that showed that Asians are disproportionately disadvantaged when it comes to applying. So keep that in mind. It's not there to discourage anyone. It's just a fact I thought I would point out. The rest of this is pretty basic. Okay, so the first important section of the application is the education section. So I applied from a public high school in Northeast Ohio, and our school is not known for sending kids to Ivy League schools and T20s. I think in the past 10 years, only one other student has gone to an Ivy League, and that was back in 2016. So it's been about 8 years. And other than that, I'd say about one student every year goes to a T20 maybe. Some years there's none, so it's very less. But I think going to a public high school helped me because it helped me stand out a little bit more. If I had gone to, say, like one of those super private institutions with like really high tuition and really super smart genius kids, I would have been below average there, and I wouldn't have stood out as much. So I think, although people think going to private school is better, I would argue that going to public school is actually beneficial if you play your cards right. So yeah, and now for grades. My graduating class was approximately 350 students, and our school did a 4.0 GPA scale with no class rank. Unofficially, I was first class rank, but officially our school technically doesn't report it, so it doesn't matter either way. So, and my GPA when I applied unweighted was a 4.0 out of 4.0, and my cumulative GPA, which was like weighted, was 4.6. So, and that is weighted. So now I guess we can look at my course schedule. So I'm gonna put an image of my high school transcript on the screen, and on that you can see all the classes I took from 8th grade or 7th grade all the way through 12th grade. So I started taking high school math in 7th grade. I was double advanced in math, so I did algebra 7th grade, geometry, honors geometry in 8th grade, but my 8th grade year was online, so I did that remote. And then starting in 9th grade, I started with honors algebra 2 trig onwards to Calc BC 12th grade. So I would recommend, if you can, getting ahead in math is really important because it'll definitely prepare you for the SAT, which is important nowadays because colleges are starting to revoke their test optional policies. So it'll really help you get your SAT math score up quickly, because I would recommend, if you could, take the SAT between 10th and 11th grade, which is what I did. And having that solid base understanding of pre-calculus is more than enough for the SAT math. So that's what I would recommend. Next, we'll look at my honors, basically my awards that I put on my application. So my first award was the Congressional App Challenge. So this was basically where representatives from each US district in every state, I don't think every district does it, but most of them do, your representative will host a challenge where you have to code an app, and a bunch of students from the district will submit, and the congressman or congresswoman's office will look through them and whichever one they like the most, they will choose to win the app challenge. And luckily, in 2023, at the start of my junior year, we were selected to win. So that was really nice. This does count as a national award because it is congressional, so it's run across the whole country. And I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want this video to be too long, but it was really cool. We got invited down to Washington, D.C. We got to meet our congressmen, and we got a private tour of the Capitol building and a bunch of cool stuff. So that was really neat. So my next honor is National Merit Commended Scholar. So this you get by taking the PSAT your junior year. And if you get a certain index score, I think it's above 208 in Ohio, you qualify for National Merit Commended. And if you get above another threshold, I think it's 216 in Ohio, you qualify for semifinals. But unfortunately, I got 215 as my index, so I missed it by 1. Or this year it might have been 217, so I missed it by 1 or 2, which kind of sucked, but it is a good national award to put if you can get. I would recommend studying for your PSAT because getting that award is definitely something that stands out, because I think among 2 million PSAT test takers, only about 50,000 get this, so you're in the top 2 or 3%, which is really good. So my next honor is something I did through our school's Key Club volunteering. It was the United Nations Association National Community Impact Award. It's a bunch of word salad. Basically, if we have a certain number of volunteering hours, our school works with a company called Interview, which they hand out awards for doing community service. Basically, you enter all your community service in the website. It'll tell you how much economic impact you made and if you qualify for any awards. And last year I qualified for the United Nations one, National Community Impact Award, which was a national award, which is really nice. And it's not too hard to get. If your school doesn't do it, I would ask your counselor or something. They probably know a little bit about it, and it's definitely something to look into if you want another national award. So my next honor is the Ohio Governor Merit Scholarship Award. This is a scholarship initiative started by Ohio's Governor Mike DeWine. And basically what it is the top 5% of your graduating class. So my graduating class was about 350, so it's the top 17 or 18 students would receive this governor's scholarship, which is $5,000 a year for every year you attend college if you attend a public institution in Ohio. So it has to be in-state. However, the scholarship does come with an award, and this is a state recognition, so it counts as a state award. So that was my 4th award. Next is AP Scholar with honor and distinction. This one is really easy to get if you take AP classes, which I assume most of you are. I think for AP Scholar with honor, you have to get above 3.25 average on 3 AP classes. And with AP Scholar with distinction, you have to get 3.5 or above average score for 4 or 5 AP tests, which shouldn't be too hard. That's why I put it last, because a lot of people have it. But it's just a nice national award because the College Board does count as a national entity when distributing awards, so that is a neat one to have. So those are my 5 awards. Nothing too special, honestly. If you play your cards right, you could get a few national awards that aren't too hard to obtain, and they look really nice, especially the volunteering ones. And I would recommend getting one in a subject you're interested in. For me, it was the Congressional App Challenge, but yeah, those were my awards. Okay, moving on to testing. First, starting with the SAT and ACT standardized tests. So for the SAT, I took the SAT at the beginning of my junior year, and I got really lucky the first time I took the SAT because I studied a lot for it, so I knew if I could just take it once, I could be done with it and never have to take it again. I got a 1550 on my SAT, 790 math, 760 reading. This was actually the last SAT that was on paper, so I studied really hard for the paper SAT, and I think it paid off. So what I recommend if you want to take the SAT or ACT is just grind practice tests. I remember Khan Academy used to have a bunch of practice tests online. I think I did all of those. There used to be this one website called McElroy Tutoring or something. They would just post a bunch of like illegal SAT leaked documents. I would just download those, print them, and do them. And the more you do, the more you'll understand the questions and the easier the test will become. And I think that really helped me the most because sometimes I didn't even have to read passages because I just knew what the test was asking, so I could just answer the question without reading it. So that was really helpful. So the ACT, for me personally, I felt like it was harder. The max I got on the ACT was 34. I was aiming for 35 plus, but the ACT, I just felt like I didn't have enough time compared to the SAT, and the SAT is only math and English, so that honestly made it much easier for me. So yeah, I would recommend just grinding practice tests to do good on your standardized tests. Okay, moving on to AP. By the end of high school, I will have taken 13 AP exams total, and one of them I self-studied, which was AP Psychology. The rest of them I took at school. Junior year, I took AP Calc AB, got a 5 on that. I also took AP Stats junior year, got a 5. AP Micro, got a 5. AP Macro, got a 5. Freshman year, I took AP Computer Science Principles, got a 5. Back to junior year, I took AP Physics 1, got a 4. I was honestly surprised. I thought I would get like a 2, so getting a 4 was kind of nice. Then sophomore year, I took AP CSA, got a 4. Sophomore year, I also took AP Psych, got a 4. I should have gotten a 5 on this, but it is what it is. Sophomore year, I was not locked in, I'm not gonna lie. Then sophomore year, I took A Push and got a 3, so that was not good at all either, but it is what it is. Then this year, senior year, I took Calc BC, Bio, Physics 2, and AP Lang. So I have not got my scores for those yet, so I left them blank on my Common App, but those are the 13 AP classes I've taken. All right, activities. So this is the extracurricular section, arguably the most important section of the application aside from essays. This is where I put a lot of my effort into curating and crafting the best activities and explanations for them. Without further ado, activity 1 was the Congressional App Challenge. So I put founder and programmer of award-winning mobile app as my description. And the app I created was called Mind Matters. It was basically a mental health resources app. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not that interested in mental health resources. I kind of just did it for the application, but that's what I would recommend. If you want to curate something, definitely go for something you're interested in if that's what you want. But for me, I found that just like, because I couldn't really justify doing something I'm interested in because I felt like I couldn't make like impact with it. So I just chose a topic I know would look good and I just delved deep into it and it worked out. So that's what worked for me. I don't know if that'll work for you, but that's just what I did. So my description: made mental health app with 15 plus unique resources, learned Swift coding, pitched app to 11 Fortune 500 tech companies at House of Code at the US Capitol. The reason the grammar's not that good is because there's a character limit, but so I think I conveyed the message clearly with what I wrote. And a lot of the times when you're writing your descriptions, you really want to have numbers or show impact, numerical impact, which is really important. So I made sure to list the 15 unique resources, 11 Fortune 500 companies. So stuff like that really makes your description stand out. So I spent 4 hours a week on this for 20 weeks, and I would like to do this in college too. So my next activity was a summer internship I did. So if I forgot to mention, I applied as a AI or CS major. So I really tried to find internships in my area that are focused on AI and computer science. And luckily, last year, the first year I applied to this internship, Cleveland Clinic, which is a hospital near Northeast Ohio, started a summer internship program for technology, which was really clutch because I did not have any internship plans before this. So that came in really handy. It's a really selective internship. It has sub 10% acceptance rate. And luckily I was able to get it. And it was a paid internship, which matters. If you want to do an internship in high school, a paid internship will stand out a lot more than an unpaid internship because at some point an unpaid internship is just volunteering. So a paid internship really made a difference. And I worked at the epilepsy lab in the Cleveland Clinic. So what I did during the internship was I helped curate a intracranial electroencephalography data set, I think that's what it's called, with more than 400 patients' data. And these pieces of data are huge, so that took a really long time. The internship was about 7 or 8 weeks, and it was a really good experience. And my admissions officer from Penn actually told me that in an email that my internship stood out. So if you're trying to stand out to these Ivy League colleges, definitely paid internships stand out, and they do take note of that. So that's what I would recommend. So next is research. So I'm still currently doing working on my research paper, getting it published, but I did research on AI-based dementia classification, and I had a mentor help me, luckily, so that was really nice. If you can find a mentor, that would be really good, because oftentimes you don't know really what you're doing when it comes to these research papers and stuff, and your mentor does. So definitely try to reach out to someone who's knowledgeable in the field, and they will help you a lot. So what I did for this, I authored original research, and it is getting published at the Journal of Emerging Investigators. Should be published this summer, hopefully. I started this a while ago, and they're asking for a bunch of edits. So I guess reputable, rigorous journals are known to these college admissions officers. So JEI is pretty known. So it's known for its rigor and extensive editing process. So if you can apply to a rigorous journal, that would be good. So I talked about my CNN, or convolutional neural network model, threw in some numbers like 99% accurate, 10 plus iterations, and 3,600 MRI scans. So like I said, putting the numbers in definitely will show impact. Okay, moving on. Drumline and percussion captain and mentor. So I am the section leader for my school's drumline, and I've been doing percussion for about 10 years now, so I thought this would be a good leadership position to try to get, and luckily I got it. So I did marching band, wind ensemble, jazz band, freshman band, and I have been ranked first for percussion in my grade since the start of high school. So that's what I mean, putting those numbers like rank and all that does show your abilities. So led 200 plus band members on and off the field at 4 contests, mentored 25 plus percussionists, helped them all earn A's while continuing my 9+ years of drumming, which is now 10. So that's that. One thing I want to add also is leadership is important, but leadership is not the end all be all. I only had 2 leadership positions in high school. I wasn't the president of the grade. I wasn't the key club president. I wasn't the honor society vice president. I had 2 roles that I was committed to, and I think that's what matters most, is your commitment, not the amount of roles you get. So next activity is research. This was research I did over winter break my junior year with my mentor from the Heart and Lung Immunology Research Center at Case Western, which is our local private university. And basically what I did was I just helped develop AI models, linear regression, and machine learning for a database for calcium score variables. So this wasn't too intensive. It was just a few weeks. I did for about an hour a week. I think here I put 6. So it wasn't very intensive. I didn't spend too much time on it. It was just kind of a fun side project I heard of, and I just thought I'd help out, and it was pretty interesting. I mean, not too much to say about it, but. So my next activity is being a volunteer and actor, head sound producer, and participant in our local temple's cultural program. And I've been doing this for a while. I started doing this in 2014, so it's been more than 10 years. And after I became a high schooler, I was promoted to a leader. So I guess that counts as a leadership position, but it's not really in school. It's more of a like cultural, societal oriented thing. And I also help out. We do plays every year, and I also help out with audio because I'm one of the only people who's proficient with like Audacity and like these audio softwares. So, and it's pretty fun to me, so I like doing it. And yeah, I basically, once you're in high school, you get promoted to leader, so you can help younger students with the acting, learning about the heritage, and connecting with spiritual leaders who attend that temple. So it's a really good experience. It's every Sunday, and I've been doing it for a really long time, so it's been one consistent factor in my life for a while, so it's nice. So next is Science Olympiad. So our school is not known for Science Olympiad at all. Our Science Olympiad team is not good. This year I got promoted to captain, and I've been a build event leader since I was a freshman. So in Science Olympiad, if you don't know how it works, there's building events and testing events. So I more focused on building events, building like robots and towers and bridges and all that stuff. And this year, as captain, I helped organize fundraisers, and I helped lead the team with a few other seniors as leaders, and we made it to states for the first time in our school's history. So that was really nice. So as captain my junior senior year, I helped build lots of contraptions and events and helped organize fundraisers. I think one fundraiser we made over $3,000, so that was really nice. And we finally, for the first time this year, my senior year, we made it to states. First time ever our school has done that, so that was really cool. And I guess that did help us stand out a little bit because you can be like, Science Olympiad was probably my only other school leadership position I had. I'm pretty sure it is the only other leadership position I had. That and drumline. So, I mean, I was committed to Science Olympiad since freshman year. I've been committed to drumline since freshman year. So finding those clubs you're interested in and that you want to pursue and then finding leadership roles in them, I think is most important. So next is paid work. So I did work as a dietary aide for a few months, but I hated it. It was the worst experience I ever had, yet I still went to work, and I'm so glad I don't have to go there anymore. But it is valuable. Work experience is valuable on a college application. Internships, paid internships are good, but they also want to see that you're working. You're not just some entitled person getting super competitive internships, that you're working like normal jobs. And this was quite a interesting job. We made food trays for residents twice a shift. It was an old age facility, so yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It was I did it for a few months, didn't really like it, so decided to leave a few months later. My next activity is a social media content creator. So I used to run, I still do, Instagram and YouTube pages with basketball content, like short form basketball content, and like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, because Facebook gets hella views for some reason, and stuff like that. So that's just something I'm interested in. I've always been interested in making videos and content creation. So that is one activity I put that I just wanted to do because I liked it. Nothing to do with college admissions, like zero care about what they would think. I just put it because I liked it. And that leads me to another recommendation. If you have something you're passionate about that you think colleges won't like, put it on there because it shows a little bit of diversity. It shows that you're a little bit normal, that your life is not just focused on academics and stuff, that you're more like, that you're diverse in your interests. So, or if you're trying to stand out to colleges, I would recommend putting something that you think is not the greatest, but you're interested in. So for me, that was making short form basketball videos. So that's what I put there. And lastly is an Effective Leadership Academy that I attended. This was a part of my summer internship program, but it was a separate like program within the internship called Effective Leadership Academy. Basically what this was it was a professional leadership coach would come in, and for a whole week we would just get trained on workplace leadership, on student leadership skills and all that type of stuff. And I put one of 90 chosen from 1,000 applicants because to get this Leadership Academy attendance, you had to be a part of the internship, which was very selective. So that's what I put there. And they gave us a certificate on there. It said 26 hours of leadership training, so I put that on there too. And overall, yeah, it was just pretty solid. I averaged out the hours and weeks just so it lined up. That's why it looks kind of funky, but yeah, that was my last activity on my Common App. However, if you have other activities on your Common App, definitely utilize the additional information section as I will show you in the video, because you can put a lot of stuff in additional information. I will go over my essay after I look at my additional information. So on this additional information page, I have separate headings for a bunch of things I did. So my first heading is additional activities. Not all my activities could fit on my 10 Common App slots, so I decided to put the rest here. First was a precinct election official. Basically what this was I worked the local election for the primaries. Next is Rubik's Cube speed solver. I was really interested in Rubik's Cubes and stuff when I was younger, so I got decent at it, and I just put my personal best times there. Neighborhood lawn care providers, so I used to cut, well I still do, cut grass for my neighbors and people around my neighborhood for a little bit of extra change. So, all right, so computer vision project contributor. Couple winter breaks ago, I worked on a project with a couple buddies where we developed a computer vision algorithm for self-driving cars, and I put that on there because I thought it was just something I was interested in that I did. Next is Breakthrough Junior Challenge participant. If you don't know what the Breakthrough Junior Challenge is, it's a video contest where you make a video about a science topic in, I think it's under 3 minutes, and it will get judged by your peers, and they will choose a winner to win a scholarship. So I didn't win, unfortunately. I thought my video was all right. I made my video on the Higgs boson, which is like a particle, and I got an email saying it was voted in the top 10% of 2,300 submissions, but I didn't win. But I thought that was pretty cool that they told me it was in the top 10%, so I threw that on there. Key club member, that's pretty self-explanatory. IBM Quantum Computation Trainee. So along with my summer internship, we also got offered to do a IBM course training thing, and we'd get a IBM certification after we did it. So I just completed that, and I got a certification for it. Next is National Honor Society member. It's pretty basic. Chess club member, pretty basic. French club leadership committee. So I was part of a leadership committee that my twin brother founded for French club because he's like the French guy at our school. And we raised around $1,000 for francophone countries that are like low income and socioeconomically disadvantaged. And we also got over 80 members to join the club, so that was pretty lit. And then last, AMC 10 participant. AMC is the American Math Competition. I did not do good at that at all, but I just I participated in it because not a lot of people get to do it, so that's pretty cool. Okay, for additional awards, I have the Nordson Academic Challenge Qualifier. So Academic Challenge is a TV show in our local region that basically it's like a quiz show you go on and you answer like trivia questions and like academic questions. And if your team wins, they qualify to the next round, and then after a few rounds, they qualify a winner. We qualified for the first round, and that's it. We didn't do that good, but yeah, I just put that we qualified. We got a certificate for it, so I just counted it as an award. Next is Ohio Music Education Association District 4 Honors Band. The Honors Band is just basically like, if you're like decent at your instrument, you get qualified for, it's like just like all like the decent kids around your like district. Like, not like school district, but like your community district. Then Honor Roll, Cuyahoga County Board of Elections Certificate of Excellence. That was for working the election. They gave me a certificate for it, which was really nice. OMEA Marching Band, Superior Rating. Concert Band Superior Rating. Cleveland Clinic Youth Education Achievement Award. So that was for completing the internship. I received a certificate for that. And Effective Leadership Academy Award, which I received a certificate for also. And lastly, in my additional information, I have a scheduling conflict and a little bit of extra information. So if you look at my transcript, you might have noticed a gap between French 1 and French 2, a 2-year gap. And that happened because of a scheduling conflict with AP Computer Science Principles and AP Computer Science A. So I just had to let them know because it looks kind of odd on the transcript. To alleviate any confusion, I put that on there. And lastly, additional information, I do have a twin brother who was applying for the same college admission cycle. So I wanted to let them know I will attend any institution irrespective of where he goes, just to make that clear to avoid any confusion. So that's my additional information section. Okay, now lastly, we can talk about my essays, my Common App essay. I chose the topic that says, reflect on something that someone has done for you that has made you feel happy or thankful in a surprising way. How has this gratitude affected or motivated you? If we go, we can start reading my essay. Can you fix this? As I devour a cup of 2-minute instant noodles after school, my older brother holds out his broken headphones, the ear cups barely clinging to the frame, wires exposed. He's 3 years older than me, but he turns to me without a second thought in moments like these. Because of his everyday struggles with his disabilities, he relies on me for minor mishaps like these. I take the headphones, wrapping them up with red duct tape and some super glue, knowing that it isn't the most sophisticated repair. Still, he slips them on without question, confident in my duct tape craftsmanship. In that simple exchange, we share an unspoken bond, an understanding that I'll keep things together for him and he'll trust me to make things right, even when my fixes are simply duct taped. One winter afternoon on the bus ride back from school, he fumbles with his pesky coat zipper, eyes focused, fingers slipping. After a few tries, he turns to me. Can you? He semi-asks, holding out the zipper. Without hesitation, I take it, guiding the metal up until it clicks. Not knowing how to express his gratitude, he settles back into his seat. That's how it's always been between us. No big requests, no explanations, and no big thank yous. Just small, steady gestures that let him know I'm here. Being my older brother's anchor is a role that I've grown into, realizing that while I may be his younger brother, he looks to me in ways that transcend typical sibling dynamics. I have taken it upon myself to offer him a sense of security, a sense that he has someone in his corner, always. And even though it isn't always easy, I wouldn't trade the world for it. Nights before his exams, I become his go-to tutor. I flip through his notes, pointing out random facts and giving the usual witty commentary, historical figures getting funny nicknames, and chemistry terms becoming memorable one-liners. He laughs, a lot, full and unguarded, exactly as I knew he would. But most importantly, he learns, and I learn from him too. At school, I genuinely appreciate when people approach me, especially when they need someone to lean on, someone who will take it easy on them and share their innocent joy when the world doesn't. Some afternoons, when the usual academics overwhelm them, I'll show my drumsticks to students like my brother and teach them a few simple rhythms. Soon they're laughing, hitting the drums in their own way, reminding me of my own brother's simple joy. There's a quiet exchange between my brother and me, one where he trusts me to be the steady presence in his life, the person who understands and cares for him when he thinks the rest of the world doesn't. This role defines me. It's an integral part of who I am and who I want to be, not just for him, but for everyone. I'm more than just his brother. I'm his translator, advocate, and problem solver. And through it all, I've discovered a kind of patience, responsibility, and empathy I might have never developed otherwise. Engaging with him has taught me how to explain things clearly, adapt my approach to certain people, and keep going even when life gets too difficult. My brother has given me far more than I could have ever given to him. In helping him, I've come to see how people typically regarded as having a disability truly possess a unique and special ability. They offer wisdom that's not always apparent, yet far greater than what I could ever understand. Each interaction, whether it's fixing his headphones or zipping his coat, reminds me of the unspoken lessons he's taught me. I've come to realize the value of trusting, respecting, and learning from those who see the world differently, because even though they might be seen through their disability, they're genuinely defined by their ability. I know my brother would agree. So that was my Common App essay. I know I wrote about a topic that a lot of people can't relate to, but I feel like this is something in my life that has really defined me and defined my character and who I am. I guess one way I could put it is that a lot of the times I don't take life too seriously. When I need to, I do, but my brother has taught me that sometimes life's not that serious, and I really hold that value dear to me because I realize how important it is to make sure that you're not getting overwhelmed, you're not taking everything too seriously, and sometimes you just gotta take a chill pill and just trust the process that everything's gonna be all right. So I really reflected on that idea while thinking of my essay topic, and it took me a really long time to decide what to write about, but I felt like this is something that really truly means something to me, and I felt like that would show who I am, so that's why I chose to write about this. And my recommendations for Common App essays, try to write about something boring. I know that sounds really weird, but one of the most famous examples is the Costco essay. If you haven't read it, just search up Costco college essay. It's a really well-known essay that talks about going shopping at Costco. A lot of people think you need to write about like your science Olympiad or like writing a research paper or like an internship or something, but my recommendation is choose something boring that nobody knows about you and shape that into a narrative that shows your values. For example, the Costco essay, that's just a really normal thing everyone does. Like, okay, I'm gonna go shopping with my mom at Costco, but that person really turned that into a narrative that showed their values, and that's really important because admissions officers have seen a million essays with my internship or my research or something like that, or my school life or something, but something about you that's unique to you, that shaped your values, is gonna stand out 100 times more than something that's just like about school or something, because they only get like 5-7 minutes to read these essays. So definitely write about something unique and something boring, but turn that into something interesting, if that makes sense. So I think that about wraps up my whole Common App. Now at the end, I'd like to give a few tips to people applying next year on what I think worked for me and what I think you should do. So my first main point is to be vulnerable. I think a lot of times people who are overachievers and people who do a lot on their application tend to get hyper-focused on perfectionism. Don't try to be a perfectionist if you can help it, because colleges want to see vulnerability in your application. They know you're not perfect, and showing that you're perfect means you're lying on your application. They want to see some vulnerability. They want to see some imperfections. They want to know that you did a lot what you could do for your capabilities, but you did leave some room for your hobbies, your interests, stuff non-academic related that make you you. So for me, that was social media, content creation, stuff like cutting grass and stuff like that. Like that stuff I did not do for college admissions or anything. I just did it because I enjoyed doing it and I thought it was fun to make some money. I thought it was fun to post some videos online. So that would be my first tip is be vulnerable on your application. Do not be a perfectionist. Next thing I think that worked for me was writing style. So I can make a separate video on my essays for each college that I applied to that I got in if you'd want to see that. So let me know. Essay style is very important. I think the style I wrote my Common App essay in was decent. You want to make sure it sounds like a narrative. It doesn't sound like an essay, like stating facts, like I did this, I did that. The number one golden rule for college essay writing is show, don't tell. And I cannot state how important that is. You want to show something through your narrative, not tell. I can make a longer video on college essays because I think my college essays worked for the colleges I applied to. But yeah, show, don't tell. Definitely describe how you're approaching a certain aspect in your essay. Don't just blatantly outright just say it. Don't just say like, I helped my brother, I fixed his headphones. I would recommend saying something like discussing how the headphones are, describe them, describe your emotion, describe how you're feeling, describe how you want to approach the problem rather than just saying that you approached the problem and fixed it. That would be my second tip is narrative style writing is very important for your essays. And I guess the last thing would definitely just be keep your academics up. If you can get a perfect GPA, definitely try to. I know my school was a little bit easy with GPA because we didn't do A- or A+ or anything like that. It was just 90.00 or above is an A, just like that, so on. But keep your GPA up, keep your SAT scores up. AP scores don't really matter in college admissions, but just try to get them for the credit because, for example, UPenn only takes 5s, which kind of sucks for all the scores I got 4s on and 3s on. So even if you get 3s, definitely still submit your score because submitting a 3 is better than submitting nothing, which leads to an assumption that you failed. So 3 or above, just submit everything. That's what I would recommend. And I think that about wraps it up. If I think of anything, I could make a separate video on essays and other parts of my application that I might have not covered. So if you have any questions, leave them below in the comments and I'll try to respond to all of them. And yeah, that about wraps up my Common App. This was the application that got me into UPenn, which I will be attending, and I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, that about wraps it up. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. This was really long. I'm going to try to cut it down a little bit, but yeah, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.